Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! We're almost there, vermin! Oh yeah, vermin! We're almost there! Welcome, Sleepy Llama, welcome! Yeah, the break ad ends in 1 minute and 43 seconds. doing? Get back here! Hey! Oh, wait, oh, hey! Oh my God! What do you think you're doing? Whoa! Hey! That motherfucker! That vermin has escaped from his cage. The vermin has escaped from his cage. Yes! Yes! I see you. I smell you too, vermin. Welcome to the show, yes. We are thousands of feet beneath the surface right now. And I told you guys last night when I was streaming Fall Guys, that tonight will be a very special episode, yeah. Oh yeah. I'm very excited to fucking announce that we are going into the podcast world. We are going into the GorPod MagmaCast. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Now, if you would please just wait a moment while I set up for the stream, I promise you we're going to have a good time. Welcome, Sleepy Llama. Welcome to the show. Let's get ready for the GorPod MagmaCast. Oh, yeah. Hey! Hey! You fucking son of a bitch. Why I oughta... Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Woo-hoo! Yes, yes, ladies and vermin, we're here. We're here for the first ever GorPod! Oh my God! Yes! 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 This is it! This is it, motherfuckers! Oh yeah! Let's go! Let's go!
All right.
Yeah! Yeah! Guys, I just want to start off by introducing my guest here, okay? Ladies and vermin, welcome to the GorPod MagmaCast.
Welcome to the GorPod MagmaCast. I am your host, Goretooth Magma Blood, and I am not from this planet. Allow me to introduce my guest for the very first episode of the GorPod MagmaCast. Okay, this smelly human is technically my cousin, but I would consider him to be more of a brother. Okay? To be honest, for real, on God, no cap. He is one of my favorite people to talk to, and I'm excited to have his charming ass on the GorPod tonight. Okay, guys.
The GorPad.
The GorPad.
The GorPad, not
feminine
bad.
products, right? Yeah. But you know what? I hope the vermin enjoy his company as much as I do. So please make some noise for my first guest ever, Mr. Lucas.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Internet? Is it weird to address people as the internet plural?
I don't.
Singular? Internet singular? Am I addressing just the internet? Or is
Well, it is kind of just like a hive mind, isn't it? Right? Like,
yeah, like
you could
that's
just.
that's to my understanding. That's what we.
I mean,
that's what the internet
unless
is,
we
right?
have like an individual in here, such as Sleepy Llama. Welcome to the show. How are you doing, Sleepy Llama? Welcome our guest, Lucas, to the stream. Okay. If you feel like you have any questions, Sleepy Llama, feel free to ask my guest. To all of the vermin, yeah, anyone who pops in, if you're curious about my guest, ask away. Okay, but I will say and have some discretion. Just be respectful, guys, and we'll have a good time, okay? I promise. Welcome, sir. Yes. So yeah, how are you doing, brother? How was your day?
Well, Goretooth, it's been a weird one, I guess. I mean, it is the best way to describe it, right? You know, work's work, but I don't know. It was oddly rainy, I guess. Work.
Yeah.
I don't know. At the place where I work there, it's a lot of like what I'm doing recently is it's a new role, you know, management. Right. Nothing interesting, but it's different when your job is finding work, you know, that needs to be done and making sure that that's gonna. I don't know. It's a little bit different than you know. I was pretty used up to that point to like getting a list of work,
Yeah.
right? And then oh well, you know, you complete that, and you know, sometimes I'm coming in. It's like, all right, well, no, you're collecting stuff from the day before, and coming up with stuff. So. And it's not necessarily coming up with stuff, you know, I have a schedule of things, but, you know, it's a little more abstract
Okay,
than
so
it used to be.
when you say weird day, I mean, does that mean you were having like a bit of a tough day, a little off day, maybe at work perhaps?
I wouldn't say it was like an off day. It just
Did
like...
you have to kick anyone's fucking ass? Ah! I mean, you know, in a place of authoritas, sometimes you gotta put the hammer down.
No, for sure. No, it's just, you know, weird time of the year. You know, was a quiet day at work. So, you know, it's, you know, just a weird day, I guess, is just the best way to put it. You know, some people might say quiet, but it's just a weird day because it's sort of an anomaly. You know, it's not usually like that. You know, it's pretty infrequent that it is that way.
Could we blame it on the weather, perhaps? Could we blame it on the weather? You said it was rainy and shit, you know, the barometric pressures and shit, maybe they're affecting us, you know. What do you think about that? Have you heard about the barometric pressures before?
Yeah, no, for sure. I've definitely heard about that. We could definitely, you know, say the day was weird because of that.
Yeah, just turning people into like fucking werewolves and shit, man.
Werewolves, you know, vampires.
Yeah, well,
Vampires.
you know what? It could be other things too, as well. Like maybe you didn't have your Snickers bar or something. You were maybe a little hangry today. Did you have breakfast and shit before you fucking...
Yeah, I had a coffee.
A coffee?
Yeah.
That's it?
Well, most of the time.
Oh my god. Is it about to get History Channel after dark in here?
History Channel.
Well, you know what, Sleepy Llama, I do have a list of questions prepared here for my smelly guest here. All right?
Smelly.
Yeah. And, you know, we might dive into some crazier topics on the idea of, like, politics and shit. Okay? But you know what? We're just warming up. We're hanging out. We're getting the vibe with my special little guy over here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you know what? We would like to get to know a little bit more about you, Lucas. So we would like to know the important things like your credit card information, your address, your social insurance number.
I can't
Okay,
really.
no, okay, no.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just wanted to, just this is a viewer discretion too. I would like to give all of my guests that a reminder that you know what, you don't have to feel comfortable to talk about whatever you want. Everyone has their ideas when it comes to like privacy on the internet and stuff. So we will know you as Lucas, right? And then that's okay with you. So, ladies and vermin, yeah, I just want to move forth and make sure that my guests are nice and fucking comfortable here. Um, yeah. Okay, so as a slave to capitalism, you provide yourself by working in the gelato industry. You were talking about work already, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck is gelato?
So fun fact about that, it doesn't actually have like a standard of identity. So, if you really want to get like abstract about it, a cup of rocks is gelato. But it's just ice cream.
It's just ice cream.
Well, made with milk. But there's nothing saying that you can't like, dilute cream to do it. Nothing saying you can't use eggs. There's nothing that's saying like this is what gelato is. Like in the idea that like for ice cream, there needs to be 10% milk fat.
Okay.
Right? For it to be considered ice cream, right? If you use a certain amount of coconut oil or something like that, it has to be called like frozen dessert.
Okay, and is it like whisked properly or something? Because I feel like the ice cream density is like it's like fluffier. I feel like there's more air in there, and I feel like that air is what's actually making me more gassy every time I fucking eat the shit. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah.
Like fuck.
Yeah. Speaking of work, I'm actually.
Are you in the middle of a work dealio right here?
Yeah, there's just some stuff going on.
Okay. Are you on call, or would you have to like maybe leave the podcast today?
I'm not leave necessarily, but I might have to take a quick phone call.
Okay. If that does arise, just let me know. If you know what I mean, like we can.
Yeah.
Cause work, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta do what you gotta do,
Mhm,
right? And
mhm.
I think we're having a good vibe here. We're starting off pretty decently. Gelato.
Yeah. No, gelato's delicious.
Well, yeah. See, there's this one time, for my birthday, you had made me a customized gelato. All right. Now this
Yes.
motherfucker made me a large batch of gelato that was like a chocolate base, right?
It was like a chocolate strawberry. Yeah.
It was strawberry, okay, and like nuts in it.
Yeah.
And he called it blood poo. All
yeah.
right.
Well, there was also a strawberry sauce.
Yes. Yes. Honestly, fucking genius. Fucking genius. And it was delicious. I fucking love it. Honestly, the blood poo is like what got me kind of hooked on that gelatskis.
Well, the chocolate's really nice, and always pairs good with strawberry, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
I had forgot if it was strawberry because I feel like I always retell that story as if it was raspberry.
Well, it's just because raspberry's a better flavor. You know what I mean? Like it's like I would have preferred it be raspberry.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
But just because I think raspberry's a better flavor. But strawberry sauce is what I had to work with, so that's
Yeah.
what I used.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
it was delicious.
So like you can make your own flavors then? Is there any like
So like
flavors that
there's
you...
just like like I can sort of make my own. It's kind of like an R&D thing, right? So like during the times when we're trying out or thinking about new things, sometimes I'm able to conceptualize things, not necessarily entirely on my own, because we're part of a brainstorming kind of bit, right? Like,
Okay, yeah,
so
so it's like a little bit more of like a team effort then, and like
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
like votes on an
Yeah,
idea, or...
Yeah, well, we'll all kind of be like, oh, that's clearly the winner, of the ideas that we've all kind of come up with. There's a couple of things that I've done that I'm proud of, but I can't really like claim ownership or anything like that, right?
Right. Okay, so is there like a couple of things, like for example, that you could tell us that you've had a little bit more input on, like a flavor that's out, and maybe where we can find these fucking like things,
Oh,
right?
well,
Like...
I've definitely done like work on like sorbet flavors and like gelato flavors and that sort of thing. But you can. I don't think there's anything particularly that we have out on like the store shelves and that sort of thing that is really like anything that I had input on these things.
Okay. Yeah.
In a sense where we were deciding which direction to go in terms of maybe consistency or sweetness levels, those
Okay.
kinds of things, right? So small things pertaining to the flavor,
Yep.
just small things. I just had some input on, not just
Right.
but
right.
so
Well, it's interesting that it's like a real collaborative effort in that sense, because I feel like you got a lot of like people who are passionate, maybe who want to bring some new flavors to like the market and shit. And it's like maybe I can fucking create the best new flavor ever, right? Like blood poo. Oh.
yeah. Well, the idea is like when we were smaller, we used to do a lot more custom stuff.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And but we've grown to like a
Custom in the sense where like someone would call in for like an order and be
like
"Hey,
a customer with like a scooping counter or something like that. They'd be like,
okay.
oh, we'd like to get like this kind of thing. And because we did display pans and stuff, we were able to accommodate that.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's
Right.
pretty cool.
But I can't say much on too many things. But like as we've gotten bigger as a company, we definitely lean more retail. There's like an amount of it that is display pan still,
Okay.
as of today. Right.
Okay.
Right.
Oh,
I don't know what the future holds.
some of the interworkings happening as we speak in real time here. Ladies and vermin, this man is doing business a little bit as we do this interview, all right? And that's okay. Honestly, don't worry about it, man. Do what you got to do. Like you said, if you got to, make a call or whatever, if we got to take a couple of minutes, that's cool. I'll hang out with the vermin. And,
just let me,
Sleepy Llama wants to ask here, does he own a gelato shop?
No,
Right,
no.
so-
So I've been there for about like 10 years.
Oh yeah!
Yeah. And what's the name of the company? Sorry.
The company's called Copa.
Copa Gelato.
Yeah, so like you'll find our product typically just says Copa on it now. It's Copa di Gelato.
Okay,
At
and
least it
that's-
used to be.
It's not international. That's just Canadian brand.
I think we're starting to like branch out, but we're definitely completely in Canada. I can say that with certainty. I don't want to say that we're in the States and then be wrong about that, right?
Right. But
just 'cause,
hey, sorry to interrupt, but we do have a new vermin in the building here. Let's welcome in Steven Shortsleeves.
Ooh.
Hey, he is the one who has redeemed the ooh yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Steven, welcome to the show. We are at the GorPod MagmaCast, and we do have our first guest ever here. Now, I know you know this motherfucker. Ladies and vermin, Steven Shortsleeves and this guy right here happen to be related. All right. And you know what? A little bit of a leaking here, a little bit of a leak, but, Mr. Steven Shortsleeves is also going to be one of my guests on the podcast, all right? So I'm looking forward to that. Steven! My chat isn't, like, moving. Oh, there we go. I snuck into the bathroom at a restaurant to say hi.
Ayo,
Oh, okay, nice.
ayo,
Hey, nice. Yeah, you can see chat. So
Yeah. Hey, how's it going, man? Yeah. No, I actually do have to take this call though.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and take your call.
Okay.
I'll hang out with these guys. Can you sneak past me here at all?
Yeah.
or- Okay, vermin. I'm just gonna play a couple of tunes as we chill out here. Yeah, and have no fear. I think we're starting off to a good start here. I think we're doing all right. This is my first time, guys. This is my first time, and we're gonna work out the nooks and crannies as we go through with more episodes. Okay, I would like to work out a little bit of kinks. I'm going to be particular with the audio here. I need to find a setup with more headphones. I need to have my guest with some headphones. Because right now I have like a speaker set up currently, and that's nice to help some audio cues for me and my guest. But if they had the headphones, they would be just as good. Anyway, I gotta head out. I wish I could stay, but I'm out to... Okay, yeah, no worries. I'll watch the video when it goes up. Sounds good. Thank you for popping by, Steven Short Sleeves. I'll give you a little shout out, Sleepy Llama. I'll give you a little shout out as well. Sleepy Llama, what do you think? Are you having a good time? Ooh, I'll be back. Love it. Perfect. Perfect. Stevie Steve. Little shout out there. And Steven does stream from time to time, and you know what? He's a very fun and genuine guy, and I would love to have him on the the fucking podcast. And we're gonna figure out a date. We haven't quite figured out the date yet, but we'll get there. All right, we'll definitely get there. Yeah, I'm just chilling, cooling dinner. Yeah, so this was perfect to tune into. Excellent, excellent, Sleepy Llama. Sounds great. Din-dins. What was for Dins? Is it human meat? I gotta know. It's always gotta be human, okay? Oh, I thought I had a little shout out here. A shout out screen. I'll look into it real quick. Okay, I'll put in a they're right there. Definitely human meats with gravy. Excellent, excellent. Yeah. Yeah. Ladies and vermin, as I'm waiting here, I'm trying to get my dance on. Now, the studio space is a little tight, so I'm making do with what I got. All right, I'm making do with what I got. We still have Shadow Realm in the building. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I do have a list here. A whole list of questions for my guest here. A Q&A, just to keep the vibe going. Just to keep the vibe going. I do have a couple of episodes planned here. So I had already mentioned that Mr. Short Sleeve Steven in chat, as he popped in, will be coming on the GorPod. I do also have another guest coming in, and I recently reached out to a fourth guest who happens to be a musician. Okay, I've had interaction in the music scene within London, Ontario, and surrounding areas, the Tri-City, and all of that good stuff. As GorPod MagmaCast and Celestial Crypt. Okay. And in that time of being in the fucking scene, I've met a lot of really cool people, and a lot of really fucking talented musicians. Okay, so the fourth episode I'm really looking forward to, because it's going to be a little bit different in the sense that it's someone that is a fellow musician like me. You know, who is going through the trenches of going through the world of entertainment. Now, the first 3 episodes is just, some family and friends here, trying to know some people that I hang out with, and know intimately. And, yeah. It's looking good, baby. It's looking good. I have been working on the scenes a little bit, okay? a little bit more of the integration. Now, a Sleepy Llama, I believe, did you want to go to Dino Land? Was it last night? Yes, on last night's stream. Because we can go to Dino Land again, okay? And I would like to keep that in mind because I have so much in mind, and I wanted to I get on a tangent, you know, and because I realized that, you know, in that moment or like after watching, it's like, hey, I have all this stuff that I had set up in the blurps and the sound alert systems for you to activate so we can have some a little more fun here in the old fucking gore stream, okay? And we only got to see one dinosaur in Dino Land there. It was one raptor when I was going off about a whole bunch of business. Okay? Get mom, it's bad! Interracial, yeah. OG Thor! Welcome, guys. Welcome. Whoa.
Dun, 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 dun,
Exactly. Okay. Let's go, motherfuckers. We're going over to Dino Land. Oh, shit. Let's travel there through space and time and the teleportation. I am not from this planet. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Here we are. Yeah, this is it. You want to see a T-Rex? This is one of my special little guys right here. Oh no!
Kick his ass, Seabass!
Oh no, it's doing a weird thing. It's going to act a fool. My hotkeys are now messed up. I know it. Let's try something else here. Hey, yeah. And we also have a Triceratops, okay? Don't ever forget, we have Triceratops that's in the fucking building. Welcome, Get Mom, it's Bad. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. We are in Dino Land right now. We're just goofing around. OG Thor, I am doing great. You're about to play a bit, and Sleepy Llama, excellent. Yeah, OG Thor, I'm doing great. We're doing a GorPod MagmaCast right now, and you know what? I'll be honest with you. Right now, I'm just trying to kill a little bit of time because my guest that I had on for the night, we fired up, but unfortunately he got caught up in a little bit of a work phone call, okay? So we're just trying to kill the time, a little hangout, listen to some tunes and get into some shenanigans here in Dino Land. Another raptor. Yes, it's beautiful. Yes. No, not this one. Come on, you smelly bitch. What is it doing? Now we will relish in this moment together. Oh! Oh my god! Oh my god! Isn't it spectacular? Isn't it glorious? Yes! Yes, my vermin! Oh no! It keeps doing this. My hotkeys are all sorts of fucked, I tell you. All sorts of fucked. Now, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch, you did it! Goretooth, you did it! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Are you back, my good sir? Are you back?
Yeah, for now.
For now? Uh-oh.
I'd say for now. It was a problem that I wasn't necessarily unable to solve, but it definitely is gonna require a lot more work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Shit. All right. Well, so does that mean you can chill a little bit?
Yeah, I can chill for a little bit.
Like, how long are we talking here? Like, do you have to leave early or anything like that?
Well, see, I don't know.
Well, see, we'll play it by ear, okay? I guess we'll play it by ear, all right?
Yeah.
We're here. Okay, we're here! We're back, baby!
Out in nature.
Yes, we are out in nature. We got a couple more people popping in here. We had Get Mom It's Bad popping in to see what's going on, and Mr. OG Thor. Let's go. Let's go over back to the stage. Let's go back over to the main fucking desk, all right? Yes. Yes. Yes! I fucking love this song! It's like one of the most happy, inspiring, happy-go-lucky songs ever, don't you think?
It does have that vibe about it.
Excellent!
Triumphant.
Yes! Alright. Enough of that crazy business. You smelly bastards. Now, where did we leave off to? Okay, yeah, we were talking about work a little bit. But are there any hobbies that you utilize to escape the metaphorical trenches of the system, my good sir?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of that. I gapped.
That's okay. I figured out a way to ask what are your hobbies in a really long fashion.
No, definitely. I was gonna answer with a hobby. But as I was about to, I forgot the first part of the question. I was like, oh, is that the answer that I should be giving? But yeah. Occasionally, probably I like to sit.
Sitting isn't a hobby, you butthole! Come on!
All right. No, I play some video games. I definitely enjoyed listening to like a good assortment of music,
Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. And both topics that I have a lot of questions that we can get into, so I just wanted to kind of soften this ice here that we're breaking into, right? Because like I've said before to the vermin on the previous podcast last night, or not podcast, stream. Whoa! You know what? Like, most people aren't going to know who you are and stuff like that. My first couple of guests, right? You're my friend, you're my family. Oh my God! Get Mom It's Bad just cheered 25 bits. Let's go. Thank you very mom. Or give them very mom. Thank you very mom. Let's go. Oh yeah. Yeah, Get Mom It's Bad. If you have any questions for Mr. Lucas here, feel free to ask. But just have a little bit of respect and be mindful here. We are all human, in fact, except for me. But I definitely love to get Gracie. We can always get Gracie, but yeah, just bear in mind, guys. But yeah, okay. So in a society that's crumbling, what does Lucas do to relax? Now, you already said you really enjoy sitting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I imagine that's something more along lines of like relaxing.
Yeah. Definitely relaxing. I'm not like sitting for fitness or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to break any world records. Like, it's not
like lying down too. I'm sure you do to relax, right?
A little bit, yes.
Maybe naps. Did you take any naps?
I've been known to nap. Yes, napsident.
Yeah. Ooh.
Napsident.
A napsident? What is that? Is that like a wet dream that you're having in your nap or something? What's going on there?
Oh man,
You're feeling your pain balloons in your sleep?
I thought the wet dream was already supposed to be a description of an accident.
An accident of some sort, orifices leaking from the waist down. Got it. I haven't seen Lucas since high school. Get mom, it's bad. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, and, you know, with the idea of privacy, I can let you know who Get Mom is after the stream. And Get Mom, if you prefer that, you know,
Ooh,
for
the
some people, I know
mystery,
who
the
personally and stuff.
mystery.
But that's up to you, Twitchers as well. If you want to, you know, put your personal name up, that's fine. Whatever you want to do. If not, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do know Get Mom. Okay, so yeah. Ever since 30 naps are cool. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, and with the idea of like comfort, are you okay? Like y'all, you know, you can always smoke weed and you have your
Right,
drinks
I
and
forgot.
shit. Like
Not only do we live in Canada,
we
but
live in Canada, yes.
yeah, that's totally a thing. I'm just like allowed to do. It's akin to beer.
Yeah, and like if you want to smoke on the stream, that's fine. You know, make yourself at home.
Right. But then there's
before
a
you grab that
visual.
though too. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
is there? Are you hungry? Can I offer you a sandwich? You know, because we have like sandwiches and the stuff that I can offer. You know, so if you're hungry, I always got like a sandwich.
Yeah, you know, I could.
Oh God. I think that had a little too much mustard on it, ladies and vermin. That is the old knuckle sandwich. That is the old knuckle sandwich. OG Thor coming in and cheersing 25 bits. Hey, thank you very much. Thank you kindly. I appreciate that, Thor. Let's go. How's your face, man? Is that, you know, was that sandwich
Yeah,
alright?
no, yeah, it was fine. It was fine. You know, it was better than the last one you made me. So
Okay, sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you like the extra mustard then?
Yeah, no, the mustard was good.
Nice.
Mustard
All
was
right, bro. All right, bro. So let's get into the video games then. You know, this is something that you're very comfortable with. This is your world a little bit, you know?
A little.
With the idea of hobbies and stuff, you know? So, like, what have you been playing recently? What's your vibe nowadays?
Well, I did just recently try out Starfield a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I was playing around with that. And, you know,
Starfield is the one where it's like you're out in space and it's like, was it Bethesda?
yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah. So it's
kind
like,
of like a rip-off of No Man's Sky.
I don't know. I don't even really think you could compare them. Like I think people do.
Yeah.
I
You
definitely
know,
feel like people do, but they're definitely it's like, yeah, they both happen to be games that happen in space, but the kinds of things that you do in No Man's Sky are definitely like a lot different than the things you're going to be doing in you know, I would say Starfield for fun.
Right.
I don't know. I found No Man's Sky to be a lot more chill experience, and like I think that's kind of the experience I want from No Man's Sky. But when I'm playing Starfield, right, like I am looking for a little bit more of a narrative experience.
Something
in
a little
some
bit
way.
more like a rigid narrative.
Maybe
right?
not,
Like,
maybe not so rigid, but I'm definitely looking for a more structured narrative, right?
Yeah,
Definitely,
yeah.
you know, a little more polish. I'm looking for handcrafted stories as opposed to you know, and it's not to say that No Man's Sky doesn't like have like a handcrafted, you know, story component, right? But like the kinds of stuff that like, you know, you're gonna get from like a Bethesda RPG, it's just a little bit more in depth. You know, the graphics, you know, they're both better. Yeah, they're both better and worse. You know what I mean? You know, some people go, oh man, but like No Man's Sky's got. I don't know. The things I like about No Man's Sky it's very arcadey. You know what I mean? I can jump in and have fun pretty quickly. You know, like past like
true,
once
yeah.
you've got off that like initial like tutorial bit where they like kind of like just like run you through the game.
Yeah.
But Starfield, you know, without spoiling anything, you know, I spent, you know, like a couple hours just playing around with the character creator. Right.
Naturally,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know,
because I'm
like,
vain as
fuck it.
hell. Vain as hell because I only try to make people look like me.
You think it's vanity? You think it's vanity because I think
Man, it has to be vanity if you're like, there's a doll I can use to interact with anything, and I make it look like anything. It's like, it has to look like
But
me.
I think vanity is more of like the purpose behind it, right? So like it maybe is like your intention, right? Because it's like any gamer I think wants to just become a part of that world, right?
Yeah, maybe.
So,
Yeah.
it's like if you can put yourself in that world, then I don't think that's vain. I think it's just trying to create a replica or a simulation of some sort, right?
I guess it creates
but-
a bit more immersion on my end too.
Immersion, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Like
You can better look at myself and be like, oh yeah, that's me killing that dragon right there. That's me shooting that guy in the face.
yeah, and I don't think that that's extremely like vain. Are you laughing at chat here? Nah, I want big titty animals, goth girls. Let's go with a big dumper. Hey, get mom. Yeah.
So they play Animal Crossing, I'm guessing. Now.
Yeah, Animal Crossing.
no.
Yeah. Anime. Okay, yeah, anime. Yeah.
Big titty goth girls.
So like aside, like anything else you've been playing aside from like Starfield? Starfield's a good one. I've definitely been looking into that. Ad break ends in 2 minutes, so like, we can still just like chill and shit, you know.
Yeah, no doubt.
We'll keep it going. If you want to avoid the ads, guys, you can always subscribe. Okay,
Ooh.
subscribe to avoid the ads, or fucking if you're feeling generous, you can gift subs for one of the other vermin to avoid the ads. Okay. I hope you're having a good time so far, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what else have you been playing, my friend?
I've been playing a little bit of this game called It Takes Two, with my girlfriend there.
Okay,
There's
yeah.
like it's actually just like a co-op it's only co-op, right? I don't think there's a single player experience for it. Like you have to play it with another person. Okay, so it's kind of co-op all the way through.
Kind of like Gears of War, right? I feel like that's.
I mean, that definitely has that like multiplayer component. But like the whole game kind of like relies on puzzle solving, where like one character is doing sort of a piece of the puzzle for the other character, and then the other character has to use their tool set to solve their piece of the puzzle to allow the other person to continue to advance. So you guys are sort of using your tool to help the other person advance.
Okay, that almost reminds me a little bit of it's
Maybe like
reminiscent of like a God of War, the new ones, right? With like
yeah, you got the two characters there. Yeah, it's kind of thing. There was a game called Army of Two. That game was like that had like a single player component. I'm pretty sure. You could just play like by yourself, and I'm not sure if you were able to swap between the characters. Maybe there wasn't a multiplayer component to it, but or a single player component to it. But I remember that game was, you had two characters. It was Kane and Lynch. If you remember that game back on like the fucking PS.
I don't. To be honest, yeah.
Oh yeah, so Kane and Lynch, that was like a Rockstar game. I think it was like a Rockstar game, and it kind of had like Max Payne vibes, kind of thing. So like crime story, but like it was a little bit more. At least I saw it that way.
Like the third person kind of fucking.
Yeah, but it was a little more gritty, like more serious than like Grand Theft Auto. Like Grand Theft Auto's kind of hits all that same crime beats, but it's like kind of silly at times.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Manhunt too,
Manhunt was crazy, dude.
Fucking brutal, dude. Fucking.
No, like I've been playing some Baldur's Gate 3, big RPG, man. Holy fuck.
Okay, yeah, I've gotten into RPGs a little bit, in my time. I guess No Man's is a bit of an RPG, right?
Well, you definitely have to do. I think when you're like looking for content for yourself, you have to definitely role play a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you have to like sort of like really get into like, oh, what are you doing? It's like, oh, well, I'm like, a fucking smuggler, and like that's what I do. I like go from like this fucking space station, buy the stuff from here at whatever, and I fucking fly it to like the system where it sells for more or whatever, right? Okay. And if that's how you fucking play No Man's Sky, it's like, yeah, you're like a trader. Like that's how you're
right.
And
well,
like
many of the different ways that you could approach it, right? Like
yeah, definitely, right? Like I definitely lean towards even like when I play what's the game there? Red Dead, right? Like I like the bounty hunting. Right? So when I play No Man's Sky, I play like the same fucking character, right? Just like all bounty hunting fucking all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So like and that's always really fun to me. Like, I kind of wish there was like more active, like, stuff with like players in that. Like for like the fucking hunting and stuff like that, just because it's like a lot of fun. Like when I play No Man's Sky, like a lot of people don't do any like the PvP kind of stuff, right? And
What PvP? What do you mean? What is that?
player versus player, right? Right.
Uh,
Right. So like when I play No Man's Sky,
like you go fishing with this person, or do you fucking
no,
like,
I
do
fucking
missions
shoot
with
them.
or...
I shoot them down.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
So it's like a
it's-
1v1 straight up.
Yeah, like
Okay.
or like sometime it'd be cool if like there was like more stuff like that going on in that game. You know what I mean? But it's like whatever, right? It's that's kind of not the audience for that game anyway, right? Like I'm kind of an
Right.
maybe I'm an outlier, right? But like I think if they put some stuff into like, and I haven't even actually played it in like the last like year, and they've done like a ton of updates even still.
Shit. Okay. So like I got a question here for you. Is there anyone that was like a gaming influence in your life? Like any influences when it comes to like the world of gaming?
Like I don't think it was ever like strictly discouraged, when I was growing up, right?
Right. I guess it is some families who would strongly, yeah.
It was never really something that was discouraged because I remember really young having an NES. I don't remember playing it very much,
Right.
but I remember it was in the house and like it being played and sometimes by me.
Right.
Like early, right? And then I remember playing the Super Nintendo with my older brother there
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
my older sister when they would come over, and we'd be playing Super Mario Kart was like one of the first games, like aside from like I think Ski Freak, I think Super Mario Kart's like the first like game I remember like really getting into.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like what year was that, do you think? Like what are we talking here?
Well, like I'm pretty sure around then the Super Nintendo was still fairly relevant, but the N64 wasn't out yet. Maybe 94.
Yeah, cause so like Mario Kart,
95?
like I feel like when was the first Mario? What was the system that was on the
Super
first?
Nintendo.
Really?
Yes, Super Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo.
What the fuck? No way.
Yeah, dude, it
Yeah,
was.
because I feel like that's actually like maybe N64 and up. You know?
Well,
Like,
Mario Kart 64 was on the
y-
N64,
yeah, yeah. Well, I
right?
feel like when it comes to Mario Kart, like in nostalgia, that's where
well,
I
I
really,
mean-
really remember it. You know?
Right, right.
Like,
Well, like Super Mario Kart's like fucking. It's pretty different than like Mario Kart 64, just in like what you're like
would it be
able
like
to
almost
do.
like a beta version of like Mario Kart as we know it today, right? Like,
Well, like
I mean, logically, but I mean, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Like it definitely plays the most different in the series. Just because like there's like things that like fucking happen when you're playing Mario Kart, like Super Mario Kart, they just don't happen in later Mario Karts. Like in Super Mario Kart, you can overdrift and like fucking spin out, right? Like that's kind of like a thing because like when Super Mario Kart like fucking was new and they were developing it, like drifting was like a brand new thing in Japan. Like that was like they like it had like I'm pretty sure that's where it was invented. Don't fucking quote me on that.
yeah, fucking Tokyo Drift, motherfucker. You know, fuck yeah.
But and so I'm pretty sure that they were just trying to make it fun, right? Oh, drifting is fun, but if you do it wrong, like there's kind of like a penalty and
Okay,
kind
so
of thing,
you
so-
mentioned earlier, yeah. So like, I would say that then your older brother and sister then were more of like the influential.
The earliest ones I can remember probably, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that being said, video games can be like pretty impactful, right? So,
Yeah.
are there any games that have like moved you deeply, and like games that may have changed your life perspective or anything? You know?
Well, yeah, so that's kind of like it's a neat thing, right? Because like moving around a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
We all after a little bit we just kind of like always had a game console. So like during the times where it's like you'd be transitioning from friends and stuff like that, be able to play like a couple of games here and there and that sort of thing, and sort of kind of just became the constant in my life.
Like, are there any games that like have like
Well,
moved you? You know what I
specifically,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. So like,
because I feel like that it almost seems like you were like just aligning up a certain time period with a certain video game. Maybe that's why it moved you so deeply. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. So like,
Because I feel like that would make sense, right? Because I feel like to
so
any
like,
gamer, we have our
yeah, so
generations of
like,
games. You know?
yeah, so like, I would say Final Fantasies are probably a game that like they mean a lot. Just because like growing up, they were the ones I really started to like when I started like really playing games for myself,
Right.
kind of thing, not just like with my friends in a group or
So
like
Final Fantasy was like getting you like emotionally invested then.
yeah, like the storylines were definitely something I was more interested in, right? And uh, and when you're I love the storylines even still, right? They hold a special place, but some of them are a little.
I think they hold a special place with a lot of people, right? Because it's like I feel like I see remakes of that game like every fucking year. You know what I mean? Like, like fuck.
Yeah, man. Well, there's a lot of them, right? But yeah, I'd say this was probably one of the ones that like got me invested. Because when I was younger, I didn't really play like a lot of like hardcore fucking games, right? Like I didn't get like really into that till I started like
Getting a little older with
yeah.
spending your own money as an individual here
Well,
within
you
society.
start. Well, I'd start like playing through games and it'd be like, oh, what kind of challenges can you come up for yourself? Because after you do what the games told you to do, right? It's like, well, how do you? It's like, okay, well, like, well, what are you doing to like keep it fun?
Okay, well, that being said, with that in mind, uh, what's a game that you've spent the most time on? Like how many hours do you think you've clocked in on a motherfucker, right?
So that's actually a pretty. So I have a couple of like real counts on these things. There's two games that I have the actual numbers for. A couple of games I don't really.
Yeah,
have
you
the...
could probably ballpark it,
So I'm
'cause
gonna say
some games have the
Minecraft.
numbers, yeah.
Minecraft, I've probably dumped the most amount of time into, but that's just because I've been playing it for 10 fucking years.
Right.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's the thing, though. Like that's credible.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
legit, right? Like, fuck.
But according to my Nintendo Switch, I put 500 hours into Breath of the Wild before I fucking stopped playing it. And then there's another game, Project Zomboid. That's a Steam game.
Okay, yeah.
It's fucking really good. Zombie survival game. Looks like The Sims. Like, so that's kind of like isometric view. Like The Sims 2 or The Sims 1.
Is that the one that you showed me? It's like on mobile, like a little bit?
No. It kind of looks like it could be a mobile game, but it's not a mobile game.
Okay.
It's like strictly on Steam. I would recommend that, like, playing with mouse and keyboard is sort of like the way to go for a lot of people, but like it does have nice controller setup. Well, actually, Project Zomboid is like a fucking sick like horror game, even just for like Halloween and shit like that.
Yes, to get you all festive for the season, eh?
Yeah, well, like, I don't play too many like fucking zombie games because like a lot of them are like super fucking cheesy.
Yeah.
In the same way that the movies are, right? Like,
well, you know what? I think I actually may personally avoid scary games because I think sometimes they actually fucking hit the mark pretty good.
yeah, well, like I think that's kind of the point, though, right?
Yes, absolutely right. But I think that may be a reason why I also sometimes maybe come to a certain point in like a video game where it's like, oh,
yeah.
I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
okay, like
Yeah.
like the what is it? Like the zombie game where your buddy on the like motorcycle, day.
Not is it Daisy? Yeah, I think it's probably Daisy. I haven't played that
You have
one,
to
but
like
I think that's the guy.
fix your like motorcycle and fucking
I'm pretty
like
sure that's
maintain it
Daisy.
and shit and
Yeah.
but yeah, there was that one, it got me real fucking scared. Even shit like Dead by Daylight, that fucking game will scare the shit out of me, man. Like,
Oh dang. Man,
yeah.
you gotta like play Alien Isolation, dude.
I recently got into that actually,
Yeah?
yes, because I remember the old Alien games fucking hitting that mark too.
Yeah,
Right?
like
fucking greasy hitting that mark, and I remember actually playing it in my bedroom a week or two ago. Just turn off all the lights, right?
Yeah.
Fucking it was pissing me off though, because I felt incapable at points because it's like stupid, straightforward shit that you just gotta try to figure out sometimes. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's
Oh,
like,
I guess. Yeah. All right. I guess that's the way.
right,
Yeah.
so it's like that game had a little bit of that going on there. Let me take a look here. It's okay. Silly
It is
question.
terrifying. Yeah.
Silly question. Who do you think is the most attractive video game character of all time?
Tingle. No, I'm just fucking around. Like genuinely speaking,
I mean,
it's all personal preference, right? So it really like says a lot of weird shit about you, right? But if you
yeah.
like have to call it, right? Like it's just like I don't know, like Samus from fucking Metroid.
Okay, yeah. Physique, I would say, yeah, has a nice athletic build because of all the war that she has to go through, right? Or does the suit have to take over that shit?
Well, like I think it is part of the suit, but also I've heard of Emily Wants to Play. I haven't really like heard like anything else beyond that.
Get Mom It's Bad says that alien game jump scares are wild. Emily Wants to Play is wild too. Emily Wants to Play. That's like a horror game. You've heard of it?
Yeah, like I think like the name is like super familiar. Like it's not like a fucking
Like a fairly common
I
horror
don't know if
game,
it's
or?
like common or anything. It's just like it's shown up. Like I don't play a ton of horror games either,
Right,
right? Like it's
right.
like I play the big boys, the ones that everyone's heard of,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, that's kind of like Dead by Daylight. That's one of the big things that came up when it comes to horror games. So it's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna.
Well, like,
give that a
buddy of
shot,
mine-
like, and it was cool.
A buddy of mine told me about this like kind of one. It's called like Iron Lung.
Okay.
Yeah, well, like it's kind of like this like game where like you're like you can only do like a couple of things every day, but like there's like this like threat of death looming over you like the whole time. There's only like so many things you can like do about it.
Looming death.
Yeah. Well, like the simple scary games, those are like those are the ones that are like really fucking good, right? Like yeah, everyone like shits on jump scares, right? But like honestly, like
They get me. They definitely get me.
well, like and if you can build a game where like the tension between rooms is like there's like nothing for like a little bit, and then a big jump scare. It's like, is there an immediate threat? There was like, no, there's nothing. It's like, see, that fucking shit is scary.
Right. Yeah.
Right,
Potential
especially-
just build-ups and of atmosphere and stuff. For
Yeah.
creating a strong atmosphere, right? Because like you want to get emotionally involved. You want to feel like in it and like
Well, like
yeah.
I guess those like Five Nights at Freddy's, like those games are popular for a reason, right? Maybe for the animal porn that people are into now, but
Yeah.
But they started off, it's like those kind of like horror games that were like pretty well based around the jump scare, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Centered around, but like it had like cool stuff, cool presentation. And so it's, even though it had like a super simple mechanic, it's kind of like a gimmick otherwise. Like the game like blew up, right? Oh,
Yeah, hold on a sec here. Then add a VR headset to those jump scare games. Make you shit your pants. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. VR, yeah, like I know you've dumped into that a little bit,
I did have like the PlayStation VR for like a little bit.
Yeah, and I've gotten into it just through you, and we watched a lot of porn too. Like that was really nice.
Back to back.
Yeah, back to back. all wet and greasy, of course.
Yeah. Well, the aim is to shoot it over your shoulder and get. It's like you got it on my lap.
Oh no, not the lap.
That's the goal.
Shit. Oh shit. Yeah. Okay. So, does the industry seem broken with DLC? Have gaming companies become too greedy?
I mean, like, there's definitely, blanket statement, yes. Blanket statement, right? Like, that's like the most general answer I could probably give.
Right.
But like, you'll get like indie developers that like release stuff for free. Like Hello Games, right? They updated No Man's Sky like continuously, like almost for free, and that's all DLC, like technically, right? It's not optional, so I mean, it's I guess not, but that's support and new content being added to the game.
Well, how do you feel about just this idea of like just DLC in general, like content you have to like buy within like a free game, for example? I personally feel like it can get a little carried away because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like you're digging into our pockets with fucking these small microtransactions
Well, yeah.
all the time. So it's like if you're going to do that, I would support it if the things were going to be way fucking cheaper.
Oh,
You know,
for sure.
I don't want to be spending like closer to $15 on this currency that I have to buy to get a skin that's like $10, and I have a little bit left over to not have anything. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
they
so-
package it obviously to, and it's just like it pisses me off personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is this, Mr. Harris? Welcome to the GorPod MagmaCast. We have our first guest ever. This is the first episode ever. Yeah, say hello to Lucas here.
Yay.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, this is the new direction, and this is the new wave of the future, my friend. That smelly vermin. Yeah. How are you doing, Mr. Harris? Thank you for popping in. I appreciate your time. Yeah, we're just hanging out. We're having a good time. How are you feeling, brother? Like, I feel like you're nice and comfortable right now.
Yeah, pretty good right now.
Yeah. Did you need to get like a drink or anything? Like, are you all set? I saw you looking around over
I
there.
think I'm just gonna burn this really quick.
Okay, yeah, we're smoking weed on the stream, dudes. We are in Canada, which means that we can do this shit live. All right, we can do it right in front of your fucking face legally. Good, brother. 5 days, no booze, man. Hey, well done. You gotta respect it. Oh yeah. Not much, but you're feeling great. Hey, excellent. That's awesome. Yeah, I missed you, Mr. Harris. Thank you for popping on in. If you do have any questions for my smelly guest here, then feel free to ask away as we go along. But I just want to say, be respectful. As greasy as we can get here from time to time, just trying to get not to get all crazy with it. You can see the chat, so yeah. Yeah, we'll be all right. Did 2 AA meetings. Okay. Going hard, dude. Same here. Working away from home Monday to Thursdays. Now sucks. Shit. Well, you know what? You gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah, no, always. I mean,
we're all slaves to the fucking system, are we not?
yeah, no, for sure. Like, we definitely don't really have another option, right? Like, you can't really just be like, oh, rent's too expensive, so I'm just gonna live outside, right?
Yeah. Well, sometimes that unfortunately does become the option for people. As sad as that is, but. That's society for you. We're in a broken system. Oh shit! Damn, Lucas. Yeah. Well, you can stick it to the mondiosis and say no to rent. That's true. We can all come together and fucking just look at this rent here and just go, "Hweh."
Yeah.
We'll fucking yeet that shit, guys. Yeah, thank you for joining once again, Mr. Harris. We're gonna move on forth here with a couple more questions for my guest. We have so much here, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like we're gonna keep an eye on time here. We're actually through like a solid hour right now.
Oh, decent. I didn't
Right?
even realize.
We flew through that, and that's excellent. I love that shit. So yeah, are you okay in terms of like all the stuff over there?
I think so. I just
You love this aspect. Excellent, Mr. Harris. I love that. I love that. I've already got 4 episodes planned out. This is episode 1. I have 3 other guests in mind and already prepared for when it comes to my questions and shit. So it right now it's just a matter of booking the time. Yeah, it's just a matter of booking the time with my next guest here. So thank you to all the vermin who have joined me and us. It's been awesome. We're gonna continue here. You're all set? Like you're
yeah.
okay.
I think I'm pretty good. I might pack something up a little bit
Yeah,
later.
smelly old Lucas here. He's kind of been,
Smelly guy.
keeping an eye out for his old work priorities. All right, we had to digress a little because he had to take a phone call, but that's okay, brother. You gotta do what you gotta do. So another kind of crazy question for your ass, but with the idea of like video games.
Yeah, sure.
What does the gaming industry look like in 20 years? What, like, you know?
Ah, man, like, what's my opinion of that?
Yeah, what do you think? You know, because I think the sky truly is the limit in a lot of ways, but like, what do you think?
Man, like, I have a pretty pessimistic view of what I think gaming's gonna look like in 20 years. Like, I definitely feel like, they'll have, found a way to have games as a service in a really, like, crappy way. Games as a service being just, like, they put in some work for, like, whatever, and you pretty well pay for everything else in the game in the same way you do for real life.
Right.
Right? Like, it's just like, no, you're just like, they're providing you with an amount of fun that you're consistently paying into, right? And I think, VR will contribute to some of that. And I think that there'll be, like, I think the way gaming will be done will be in, like, longer stints. You know what I mean? Like, I think there'll be a lot more subversion of reality. Like, I think, you'll have, like, it'll be just like a thing where like you'll be, oh man, I was just like playing games for like 8 fucking hours, but like I was like in this like VR simulation world where I could fucking do whatever, right?
Right. So with VR then, because I personally see it. I personally between two piss jugs. That's just the Nightbot. AI and gaming, yeah. I mean,
Well, like so, like
I did have a question about AI, so like that's right on par here, so like that could be a part of the future of gaming as well, but for some reason my mind always just goes to shit like Star Trek.
Well, like
right, the holodeck. I think that's probably going to be part where it's like you're actually in the environment. Your own fatigue and stamina is what helps you in each of these.
Oh yeah, well maybe right. Like, that would be fucking pretty cool. I think AI in gaming, what I think that would be cool.
Well, because in like, AI holograms, obviously, you could have like people that you're going against and shit. Or
if you're even like thinking about like, like I've seen this on like YouTube a little bit. There's like things like Skyrim, right?
Yep.
Where they've gotten free guy. Yeah.
Free guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like that's like pretty cool, right? And like it sort of in line. So like I've seen these like Skyrim videos where this guy, he's like put a couple of like AI mods into Skyrim, right? And what he's done is one of them is so that way he can just talk, and there's like a voice AI program that can decipher the words he says and put it into text and data that the game can read and understand. Okay. So it does a bunch of things there, right? There's another one that allows the AI to be applied to a character's voice, and it can then simulate the character's voice and then like output voice data as that character and stuff like that, right? So like that's kind of like voice reading and stuff like that, right? And so this guy got it so that way there's another like program that and thing that he's put into it. If I could find the fucking link, I should have thought of that. I could have shown you. Because it's really crazy. Because like what he does is he can just like ask this.
Is it on like, YouTube or something?
Yeah. So
okay, we could look it up. If you want.
So like based on this character, this character's like the in-game character, right? It's like let's say you had what's her name? Lydia, right? It's like okay, well Lydia's like born in Whiterun. And she like her father would have like grown up here and does so you could ask so like the game sort of like assumes some in-game lore that Lydia might know, and then there's some like pepper dialogue about like how life might have been lived around then, right? So be like Lydia, like how did you become a member of the King's Guard? And then she would just answer your question like organically, and then if you constantly ask her things like that are like silly and you're like no I'm just kidding, eventually she would like learn those things about like you interacting with her that way. And it was just like, and so this companion that travels with you that interacts with just you, and then like based on your interactions with the world, their interactions with you would change. Like, wow, I never thought you would do that, man. You've never done anything like that. And then you could be like, well, I do whatever I want. And then the AI, based on how it feels, would just respond. And you could have like this character that travels with you that's dynamic and that you would actually build a relationship with. That
right.
you know what I mean? Across
Yeah.
and so it gives games that are kind of open-ended this like really surreal like character narrative, right?
Yeah, because I think if anything, that's probably the real next step. If anything, is like uh, boosting up the AIs in these games to make them feel less
Stilted, right?
Right? Yeah. So it's like making sure. So for Red Dead example, you know, if you had like an AI in there, it's like, yeah, you could actually become like a legit friend with it or something. It's like, wow, this thing is like real, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of the idea where it's like, yeah, that's probably like the next step. That is that level of it.
Yeah, well,
involvement.
and it's like, you know, games like Dwarf Fortress, like those games, like that game is like this game that has like 100 years of like lore.
What were we going to watch there?
Okay, so like type in Skyrim AI, right?
Okay.
Just to get us there.
Yep.
Because there's a very specific guy who does this. So it's not this guy. Scroll through for a little bit. There's a AI companion. ESO is the guy. It's me.
Maybe. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So these videos here by this guy, not that top one.
Okay.
So the one that says "It's me, Lydia," just pick that one.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now that we got something a little lined up here, let's go over to the watch screen here via GorPod MagmaCast. Okay. That way our viewers can see what we're about to check out. All right,
so
guys.
Like, this is like some other guy, right? But he's added some things to like, you know, the whatchamacallit, you know, to the the PC version of Skyrim, right? Some mods for like AI or whatever. And it just like lets you talk to the NPC, and like the NPC will like understand what you're saying, and then there's like an assumed knowledge that like every character is given.
Right.
Or at least for this mod, just this character.
GPT.
Okay.
Right, so it uses Chat
somebody
GPT,
has-
right?
Oh, hold on a sec here. I want to get it all so I can set up here. All right, dudes. Yeah. So
And we'll just like skip ahead to like different pieces. and
Somebody
stuff,
Yeah,
has
sure.
right?
put
No worries.
ChatGPT AI into Skyrim.
you can hear that?
But they've gone much
Yeah.
further than that because they've actually combined it with other AI software
Right, so-
in order to enable you, the player, to actually speak to NPCs in Skyrim
Right.
using your own voice, and consequentially have an immersive conversation in the game with all the characters you know and love from Skyrim. Let me show you guys an example here with Lydia,
Right, so this
and
right
then
here.
we'll go over how this
Okay.
actually works and what this may mean for the future of roleplay games like The Elder Scrolls 6 or Fallout 5.
Did you learn
Right.
to horse ride in Whiterun?
Let me think. My training in horse riding began long before I became a housecarl. I hail from a family of nomards who were skilled with horses, and I learned much of what I know from my father. However, in my time serving as a housecarl for the Jarl of Whiterun, I have had much opportunity to ride and care for horses, and my skills in this have only improved as a result.
So you're probably wondering
Whoa.
how this
So he asked her,
Skyrim
like,
mod
where did you
actually
learn to ride
works.
horses?
Well, the creator,
None of that stuff is in the
machine,
game
has
already,
written
but like,
scripts
and so she
that
just like,
combine
yeah, she
three
just like
different AI
came up with that
softwares
sort of like,
together.
well,
So for
like
this
I grew up
example, let's
here,
pretend that we
family
ask
was
it-
this,
Right,
and,
yeah, just the-
and so
First
she's
thing
like,
we have
so it's like,
Whisper
oh, you
AI,
just like talk
which
to
is
this
a
person.
Speech-to-text AI that translates what you say verbally into text.
Right.
That text is then sent to the second AI software,
Oh.
ChatGPT, which is an AI chatbot that can be
Right.
fed information about
And
the
so it's just like
NPC
this
it's
dual
going to be
sort of
role-playing
thing where
as.
it's
So
responding
depending who it's
to sort of
role-playing
like
as, it can
itself
give
in a
you
way.
the
Well,
appropriate
it's its own
response.
input and
The text
output system
responding-
where it has to use text at the moment to just understand what the fuck you're
So
saying. It's
when-
a translation, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
so it takes your voice, translates it to text, runs the text through ChatGPT as like a thing, and then like it basically
creates
you're
like a little algorithm or a bunch
Right,
of
so
algorithms
with-
based off
so-
of the information that you give it, right?
yeah, so you basically ask ChatGPT, it's like role play as Lydia from Elder Scrolls Skyrim with the knowledge that she would have.
Like,
Kind of thing, right? And it assumes like, okay, well, she was born here. Would have done like it does like some stuff. You know, the character talks about it, or the character like. The
Okay, did you want
guy-
to watch a little bit or?
We can like skip ahead to like some other stuff.
Okay.
Gives
Yeah.
Just having a very deep think about that.
Yes, my family and I used to tell campfire stories during our hunting trips. We would share tales of great Nordic heroes
Right,
and
'cause he asked
legendary
her some
creatures
stuff.
such as trolls and draugr. I remember once my father told us a story about a warrior who battled a powerful dragon and emerged victorious. It was a thrilling and inspirational tale that instilled courage in me and my siblings.
My father's
What?
story instilled courage within me and my siblings. There's just something so philosophical about the way ChatGPT currently speaks.
As a
Yeah,
housecarl,
that's
my
a fair assessment. I would say that's like a fair
identity
assessment.
is closely tied to my duties and my role as a protector and servant. However, I do have my own thoughts, feelings, and desires, and I strive to maintain a sense of balance between my duty and my inner self. It can be a challenge at times, particularly when my emotions conflict with my duties or when I am faced with difficult decisions.
Confirmed, Lydia is in love with us. That or she's talking about all the people we've robbed, slaughtered, or sacrificed over the years traveling with her. Could you imagine if someone made a ChatGPT based Skyrim follower that you could just play the game with? They would remember the conversations and journeys and experiences you had with them. So it would just be like actually traveling around Skyrim with a friend. I feel like you would actually form a meaningful relationship with them. So in this new updated
Yeah,
version
and I
of
think
this
that's
mod
kind of the
from
idea
Art of
too,
the
right?
Sheep,
Is
Yeah,
just like
so, like-
making that fucking.
Yeah, so we can be done with this video because that's like basically
Okay,
it,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and that's basically all he's showing, right? Because I think there's another part later on where he's like walking. He's like, "Hey, do you know where there's like, is there anything neat around here?" And she's like, "Yeah, there's like a cave over here I could show you. I remember from like my child." Like, and it's just like this kind of like neat thing where like to find things you could actually just like ask people, like openly, like with your voice, you could like walk around and be like, "Hey, like." How about them fucking dragons? And people would be like, "Oh man, I fucking hate them things. Fucking kill them."
Yeah,
Right? Like that kind of thing, right? Like it's just I don't know, some of that, like for games like that, like I definitely think it adds a lot to it. Horror games, like they already use like an amount of AI, I'm pretty sure, in horror game, like Resident Evil 2 remake. Like there's a guy who walks around,
Well, I
and there's
think
like
that,
an
you
amount
know-
of AI where he's supposed to like kind of know where you are and kind of strom around
Yeah,
and kind
yeah.
of constantly be striving for you. The alien in Alien Isolation, it actually has like a learning behavior where like if you do the same things to get away from it,
It's adaptive.
Yeah.
It truly is adaptive.
yeah, it lures how you try to get
Oh,
away from
shit.
it and shit. And so,
Gotta get ready for that shit. Locked and loaded, motherfucker.
oh shit.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Which game has the best music of all time?
Best music of all time. It's like so really, I mean, like
Or
I
at
keep
least,
going back to
at
it.
least, what music stands out to you the most?
Well, like,
in your
you know, like the music in Final Fantasies are like always so like cinematic and stuff like that, right? And you really
Yeah.
like if you can even just like listen to that music just like on its own, right? Like kind of remove.
Sephiroth!
I mean, like that game's kind of like overdone, but sure.
Sephiroth! That's the one I remember the most. Just
Yeah, yeah.
because, you know, hanging out with old Dale there, you know,
The-
watching like videos and shit. There's a guy who actually does like a vocal cover of like, you know, the fucking Final Fantasy songs.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
shit.
yeah. Like,
And that was always something that was always done really well. That song.
oh yeah, well, like you know, it's like I think it's like the first one they ever did that had like any kind of like vocals. It had like it's all done in like Latin,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like Latin vocal line, and it's just like you know, he's a big character, right? Like big villain, you know, kind of thing. And a lot of video games strive to kind of like create the same sort of like energy that he created as like a villain.
Right,
'Cause-
right.
Because you know, for the time that game came out, like people weren't like JRPGs and like maybe even like RPGs like as a whole weren't really like a mainstream game that got like a lot of ad time or like broke like records for like sales and shit.
You had to be like a level of nerd to be involved in that
Yeah, like
world.
yeah, and it's not like they weren't successful. Like RPGs were like you know, they're successful in their own like merits and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And for Final Fantasy to have 7, it's like clearly they were doing well. Like they called it Final Fantasy because it was like they were going bankrupt and like we can make one more
This is
game.
the last one, the final attempt. Fucking
Yeah.
10 games later, you know. Like,
Yeah. So like it's that kind of thing, right? Like it's like oh shit. So yeah, no, the music in Final Fantasy has always been like really good. What else is good? You know,
Well,
I'd say
I
if you're gonna like really like go
I
for
feel like something for you personally would that's pretty iconic. You know, is probably like Zelda, right? Like
yeah, so like the Zelda music is always good. Like Koji Kondo, I'm pretty sure Koji Kondo, Kuchi Kopi. Those are all terrible things. I'm pretty sure it's Koji Kondo.
Yeah, I think you were on the edge of racism there with those words.
Maybe.
Some sort of.
Maybe. You cannot remember someone's name and be like, it was definitely something.
Right.
You know, like, just because I wasn't really, it wasn't Jonathan, it was Jimmy. No, jeez. You know, just because I wasn't going through all English names.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of those were, you know, weren't real names. But
Yeah, Chumbawamba.
Yeah.
Okay, so like let's get into like a new realm of topics here. That's my fucking.
That's nasty.
It
That's
is nasty.
my alarm there.
That's
Mr. Harris, that's nasty. Yes, that's right. Just like my cloaca. All right. You know, so yeah, I wanna. We can talk about other shit now. I think we can move on from video games a little bit more confidently
why
here,
not?
because I know that you really enjoy the tunes too. You're a big music connoisseur.
Yeah.
You know?
In that, you know, I like to listen.
I like to listen. Yes.
Yes.
A modest listener over here,
Modest
ladies and gentlemen.
listener.
Yes.
Yeah, I enjoy the finger ticklings of musicians.
The finger ticklings of musicians. Damn. Oh shit. Yeah. So like, what's the kind of music that you like really enjoy? What's the kind of shit you're listening to?
Yeah. So like recently, you know, it's a little more like I want to call them like punk. Maybe
Punk.
I don't know. I think you know, a lot of bands these days, you know, they really get away with calling themselves punk, and they're like, you know, a lot more poppy. It's like, well, it's like just like more pop as a whole. But I think these guys are like punky.
Did they have any sort of case of stick it to the mondiosis? I mean, I feel like that's a very intuitive for a lot of punk and you know.
Well, like I remember, you know, there was definitely like punk back in that day that was just like, oh, pizza party at my friends, I'm going
the
to
more
a pizza
fun
party.
stuff,
Yeah,
rather
like
than
it's like, but it had the same energy, right? It was just as angry. It was just as fast. Maybe not as angry, but it's definitely just as fast.
Aggressive,
And,
I would
aggressive,
say, yeah.
just as aggressive. You know, had that same sort of thing, right? The lyrics are just fast and delivered and just like raw, right? They weren't really like, oh, did they rhyme? Not always, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, back in the day, right? But you know, some of the stuff that comes out now that's like punk, it's like, oh man, like, I don't know, you know, they say punk is dead. It's probably dead, but
well, you know, I wouldn't say so. I mean, I think punk is dad. Punk is dad. All right.
I would say its spirit lives on, but punk is definitely dead.
Dad.
You know, because I don't. It's not the. I think the way it happened too is like, because I don't know. There's like so many subgenres nowadays, right? Like I think, yeah, I guess, you know, because that's what I mean, right? Like it's got all these like other things that like are punk leaning, but they're not quite punk. It's like how come it's like, well, punk became something
the idea
else.
of like subgenres and stuff, there's so many fucking subgenres out there, like with each core genre, I would say, right? Like, you know,
well, you know, I definitely feel like, you know, grunge, in my opinion, was sort of like the eulogy to punk.
It's an offset of punk for sure. So like, who are your favorite bands then? What are your kind of favorite bands?
Yeah,
these
so
days?
it's like going across the board, I guess. There's a rapper I like, Rap Ferreira, Safari Al. Then there's, you know, some like math rock bands like Delta Sleep. There's Minus the Bear. There's some like poppy kind of bands.
It sounds like a
There's Mute Math.
okay.
They're kind of cool. Yeah, like a neat sound to them. This like band, what are they called? Battle Tapes. Kind of like a poppy, like electronic rock kind of vibe.
Okay.
There's like Shlomo. He's like a electronic artist.
I love the name Shlomo. Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's Shlomo. At least I've always gone by Shlomo. I've never met anyone else or heard it. I've only ever read the artist's name. I've never
Like Shlomo, as in like S-A or S-C-H.
Yeah, see, there's no C, but I keep going Shlomo.
Shlomo.
Yeah, but I think it's slow-mo.
Slow.
Yeah, I think it's slow-mo.
Okay.
Right? I think that's what it is.
Time to eat, says Sleepy Llama. Ad break ends in a couple of minutes. Okay, so and Sleepy Llama says they'll tune in again after they're if we're still going.
Yeah, all right.
So if you're on any time constraints, just let me know. We're cruising through here, and I have many things we can talk about here. But you know what? Like all this digression is beautiful, baby. I love it. I think we're having awesome conversation here, and that's the thing. I wanted to have questions just prepared to encourage that,
Well, it's your first shot, right?
Yeah.
You get a good feel for it, right? And it's nice to be a part of the testing ground, right? Like
Excellent.
the founding layers even, right?
Yes, sir. And this is just the beginning, and if you're ever feeling comfortable to come on again, if you're down, then I would love that, right? But we can always talk about that later. But right now, let's get to some more questions here. I mean, so what is your go-to genre?
Go-to, well, I've been finding more recently it's been hip hop,
right?
A lot more recently. It's a weird shift, right? Because it was for the longest time there's just a lot of metal,
right?
Like a lot of metal. I started listening to you got me listening to Opeth.
Yeah,
really opened my eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, and oh man, these guys are fucking brutal, and that was really cool and eye-opening for music for me. And so I started kind of going down that rabbit hole for a while. I think the proggy stuff really kind of resonated with me.
Nice. Sorry to interrupt here. I just want to make sure that I do this properly again, because I kind of digressed there, and it's okay. But I just wanted to make sure that Sleepy Llama, you have to eat, and I hope you have a good dinner there. Thank you for popping by, and who knows how long we'll be going at this point, but if we're around and you're still and you want to come on in again, that's excellent. All right, Sleepy. Yeah, boy. Yeah. I just wanted to, show my respect to all my viewers here, so sorry for, interrupting.
Hey, that's all
here.
good. It's all good.
Because the vermin don't die, they multiply, okay? And I just want to make sure that everyone has their time here, and you're special, okay? You're special, every one of you. Okay, so where do you listen to music the most?
I'm a bit of a simp, I guess, because I just use Apple Music.
No, I mean, there's that, but I mean, literally, where? What location?
Literally, location?
Yeah.
Probably my car, honestly. But that's because I used to just it used to just be on walks, headphones and shit like that. I used to do a ton of that.
Yeah, you're a big walker, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, but I'd say more often than not nowadays, it's in the car. I definitely am just
in the car.
Yeah, driving places, get to listen to music then, that sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that's probably the main place for a lot of people, especially adults and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Well, it's crazy, right? There's not it's hard for musicians to get out and like play live, I would say, and for it to be like something that they can just like do sustainably as a whole.
It's a tough gig. It's a tough gig.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
so and because of that, there's also not a lot of not because of that, but like in like at the same time of that, there's just not a lot of places that also offer live music.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
Which
because
is
like
it's a
that.
good point. I just want to ask because it's a great segue into this next question, right? So, with the idea of like live places and stuff like that, who was the last band you went to see live? Like where even was that?
Oh man, I think the last band I saw live.
It's been a while, eh? Oh,
Yeah,
it must have been a while, but
a little bit, yeah. I think it was a show I went to with. So it might have like if we're counting like I'm gonna count every band because anytime I go to like a live music performance, it's great. I might even say like it might have been Celestial Crypt.
Oh shit! Oh
shit!
shit! Fucking Celestial Crypt, motherfucker!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just thinking of it because I remember I got caught with I shouldn't say caught. I came to the show with a backpack,
Oh shit!
and then they opened it up and they were like,
And
"Why
they
are
found all of your fucking dildos.
Well, no, they found that I brought a Lego set.
Oh.
And
Yes.
they're like, "What are you doing with the Lego set?" And I was like, "Oh, well, like, I was at Walmart and it was on sale, and I haven't played with Lego and I don't have it here, so I bought it, and my backpack was empty, and so I."
So did they confiscate your Lego? Like, what's
No, they
the
just
deal
made
here?
fun of me at the door, and then they let me in.
They just fucking mocked your ass and
Yeah.
just said, "All right, you smelly bitch, you're allowed in.
Yeah,
You and
yeah.
your smelly fucking Legos."
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet, though. That's fucking hilarious. Oh my god.
What are you doing with a Lego set? I was like, well, I walked here and bought it on my way.
Yeah. So like, how do you think music like will evolve, right? Because
Oh man.
right, because I think with each decade, I would even say comes like, a different kind of flair to the music and arts, right?
Yeah, well, like I definitely. Oh man.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You getting tired all up in this motherfucker?
Oh, maybe a little yawny.
Maybe a couple of these to wake you up. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Right? No, what was the question again?
Yeah, how do you think music will evolve,
Well, it's interesting to think, right? Because like if you really go back to like music foundations, I personally don't feel it's all that different. You know what I mean? Like I think that because genuinely I don't. There are differences in songwriting and stuff like that ultimately, right? But I can't imagine what kind when they started adding like synthesizers and stuff to music. I'm sure there were a lot of people who were like, I didn't even think these kinds of sounds could exist in music, and like they became such a big part of music, right?
Right, and I think that's just probably with the idea of like technology.
Yeah, so like
right, like so I guess it's like where is society going to be in terms of like technology, and how will it affect music, right?
yeah, so like that's a crazy thing too, right? Like maybe AI will start making music that's like on the radio, and then the kind of music that you like, for like the artists, just the stuff that you have to like look for and stuff, because like the AI would just be able to pump out the hits.
Yeah.
And then maybe that changes how, and that would change the dynamic of like, because it'd be two different facets of music, right? Because, in the same way that there's like business art that's like a poster, and it's still art, but it's like an advertisement, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like it is this product product first and foremost kind of thing. And
Yeah.
so like I think you would start having things that it's like it is music, but it's also like a product as its own thing. In the same way that a jingle is, but it'd be different, right? Because you'd be, oh, well, you can have these like AI generated songs to play in your store to prevent, profane music or whatever from being played. And so then you have this thing there that exists as a product,
Right.
but
right.
it still is music. It's like, right, but it's like it's its own brand of music at that point, right?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of potential with the idea of like AI involved with music and stuff too. But it's a scary prospect, right? Like, because we need to moderate or regulate
Well,
the amount of like ways that they're going to use it. Because it's like if you're going to eliminate competition, so to speak, it's like, oh, instead of like hiring this group of musicians or this single individual musician for like a commercial or a movie or whatever,
Right.
it's like people become futile, right? Like the human connection is lost, and it's like the greedy corporations can just create like a plethora of like stuff that's just going to make them an immense amount of money because they're no longer paying these hired artists, right?
Right.
Like,
Well, but then, that kind of is like, will people pay for that, right? Like, and that's kind
I
of.
think they will though, because
Well, I
think it will
think-
become a point where it's going to be indistinguishable, right? Like,
I mean, there's a book called Spiritual Machines. Our Lady Peace has an album that's sort of like actually like based around this book.
yeah, ooh, yeah, ooh.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah.
But there's a book. It's called Spiritual Machines.
Okay.
And it's like written by like a computer scientist, and like he's also like literary I guess poet you could call him, but it's all computer poetry, so call it it's as entertaining as you're able to get into it, I guess. But
Right,
the
as
thing that-
knowledgeable as you might be on that subject.
yeah, so he is like a computer scientist, right, or a programmer at the very least, renowned in his field. He wrote this book, and it's just kind of like this, like sort of like prediction of the future, and like computers and stuff. And in it, he's like, in the year 2025, computers will embody human qualities and human personalities. They will have dreams and ambitions. They will convince us that they are human, and we will believe them.
Right.
And if you take a look at the way AI is going and ChatGPT, like, it's probably not quite at that mark, but the idea that he was like talking about like those same kinds of things, and the idea that like it's like, look, if the computer can tell,
What time was he like writing this material? Do you
like
know?
1970.
Right. Yeah. So like that's probably before Isaac Asimov.
It's like around
or
the same time, like,
right,
but
yeah.
this guy's like writing more about literal, like these are his ideas of like, by this time in the future, computers will be at this point.
Yeah,
By
but
this
like what I was getting at is Isaac Asimov, maybe same time period. I don't know if he was inspired by him or not, but the idea that science fiction often has an inspiration from real life, and can even predict, I would say, the future of, like.
Well, a lot of things, yeah. Well, sometimes people are like, oh man, did this predict the future? It's like, no, I think it more or less guided it. You know what I mean? Because it was our idea that we were big, like it was bigger than our ability to produce it.
So
Right,
once it
so
was
like-
put out into the ether, then someone was just like, okay, it evolve off of that.
Yeah, so like, because I imagine, people have always had the ideas like, imagine if I could just like communicate with you over there, and so that idea has probably been around forever. And so
or
you
maybe
get
it's like
people
some
with
sort of like instinctive, intuitive, like
Right.
human nature, like,
So, like,
idea.
right, and so like that idea has been around forever, and so you get people like, oh, with messenger pigeons, we can like send a message, like I don't have to go to you, the bird will fucking send the message, and then you'll get it, and then like we can do this relay, and then you get letter writing, and then eventually the invention of the telephone and stuff, and so you get this communication like across like distances and things like that, right?
Oh my goodness, yes, and that's a massive digression, sir. Let's we'll try to get a little more on point here because we are inevitably talking about music here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's awesome, man. So like, does new music suck, or am I too old?
You're too old.
I'm too old. I love it. I love it. Okay, so what's your thought process behind that?
Well, like, like if you think like, all modern music stuff is like, oh, well, you clearly are like just listening to the radio.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because like back before the internet, like it's like, yeah, like the radio is where you like basically like that was the place you listened to music, and
it's the main source of propaganda for
right,
most
but
people.
back in the day, right, like you go back to like there was a lot of variety on the like today there really isn't. Like I'll like I remember
well, I
FM
would say
90
from like area to area. I feel like there's more
Sure.
diversity in bigger areas.
for sure, but like I remember just the local London station, right, like
Okay.
like for like that area,
Yeah. Yeah.
FM 96, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that station, right?
Yeah,
So
fuck
I remember back in the 90s, there was this thing they would say like on the radio, like, "Hey, if we play the same song twice in one day, you can call us and we will give you a cash reward."
Wow! If
To
only
call them
they
on the-
fucking did that today, guys. FM 96, local London radio. They're still alive and well today. Honestly, they repeat shit all the fucking
Well,
time,
and that's kinda like
it's
the-
disgusting. Oh.
Well, it's sort of the way that, like the radios are, right? Like
Well, I mean, they can be, but at the same time, I feel like
they don't have to be.
Well, yeah, having a host who's more passionate and like creating that diversity a little bit more.
I think it's sort of it does lean into actually like they have like a music director who like just like picks what like because they're like part of Chorus Media or whatever, right? And so like Chorus Media has like a fucking person who's like, oh, I picked the music, and they like
yeah.
and so then maybe the hosts
Well,
like pick up playlists.
Sometimes I actually think that there might even be bands who make like certain deals with certain radio stations.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it's like we have a contract with you. We need this amount of airtime.
Yeah. Right.
Right. So I think there's a little bit of that going on. I can't verify that, but I've had my thoughts about that.
Yeah, well, like the only radio station that like I really listen to if I'm like going to listen to the radio, right?
Yeah.
Like, admittedly, is CBC, and like and that's that's genuinely because like
Oh, you old bastard!
man, so
Oh, trying to say all hip and current with the CBC.
well, no, so like there's so many different things that are like like I wouldn't say like you could turn it on every day at 5 and like be able to like reliably listen to like the same kinds of stuff. It's because it's like not that. It's like I think of it more as like the way like a TV station kind of has like different types of programming.
Yeah.
So like there's like there'll be times it's like, hey, we're doing like hip hop for like the next like 2 hours. It's me, Odario, and it's like, oh, cool. And then it's like all like 90s hip hop and shit like that for like a few
Yeah,
hours,
yeah,
right? And you're
yeah.
like, oh shit, like that's great. And you're listening to that, and they're like, hey, all right, that was super cool. Now we're doing like a live concert. It's like whatever band. They're like, oh, like REM is like performing at this thing, and so we're like live broadcasting. It's like, holy shit! Like it's not always not always stuff like that. I don't think REM's like a good example. Like usually it's like a Canadian artist, right? Yeah, REM's American, right?
Right. Okay. So, you know what? So, new music doesn't suck. I just gotta stop listening to the radio. You motherfuckers out there, stop listening to the goddamn radio and find it within yourself to go find the new shit that fucking.
Well, if you have like a Spotify or like Apple
That helps,
Music or
yeah,
anything
yeah.
like that, like finding new music that you like should be super easy. Like super easy.
That's fair. That's fair. Nope. FM 96. Mr. Harris, I know it's your favorite. All right, it's your goddamn favorite.
But there's no more Tucker. Why would I? Or is Tucker still on there?
I don't know, to be
Is
honest.
it Tucker and Taz still?
To be honest, I have no idea.
How long has it been since Tucker?
Tucker and Taz, I think they're probably still on there. Mr. Harris, Nickelback, AC/DC, no! All right. Look at this photograph.
Taz and Jim, like from like
Taz and Jim.
yeah, like is that from like according to Jim? Like is it not actually Jim?
I haven't been hip to the local radio lore of FM 96 in a while because I don't have a vehicle myself, and that's usually where I would be listening to the radio.
Jim Kelly. Kelly, that's like You know what? I knew that already.
It's a fucking female's name,
Yeah.
isn't it?
You know what? I did know that it was Jim Kelly.
It's fucking Taz and Jim. Hey. Okay, so here's a question for your ass.
Sure.
What fucking song, or if there is any songs out there that make you cry? What makes you shed a tear when you listen to it?
What makes me shed a tear? The song "I'm Not Crying, You're Crying."
That's
No.
not a song.
Well, it is, but it's definitely not the song.
Okay.
It's Devin Peacock.
Devin Peacock is on FM 96 too. He's great. Okay.
That's like the sports guy, right?
I don't know.
No, it's not the sports guy. Is it the sports guy? There was a guy on FM 96 that did the sports sometimes.
Okay.
I don't think it was Peacock. It could have been Peacock. There was a guy who came on sometimes, and it was that. Yeah, he's like the sports guy. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, this is my knowledge of it.
No, he was like he was definitely a nice addition, right? Like they had this girl that was on there for a while, and then it was basically the regular like
A girl.
blah 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 blah.
Oh,
like,
no.
You know, that was like the radio.
They were genuinely conversing as hosts? Oh my god.
I don't know. I never really got into it when it was the three of those fucking people. But when
What
Peacock
makes you
was-
cry? What makes you cry,
Yeah,
bitch?
right. What makes me cry? You know, it really depends on the mood. There's this like this lady. I call her a lady. I think it's a band. I think she has like a guitarist and a drummer. Daughter.
Okay.
She has a song, Youth. Depending on like, you know, how I'm feeling at the time, if I'm like, oh, I'm gonna listen to this fucking sad song today, and I go ahead and I put
Yeah.
that on, and I'm also like feeling the right way, you know, I'll be listening to me. Oh God, it really got me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like that Sheryl Crow song, right? With Kid Rock.
Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow make me cry. Mr.
Cry and
Harris.
dry.
Oh shit. Yeah. What's that song?
It's not Picture, is it?
For some reason, all I can think of is fucking Nickelback.
Yeah,
Look
right.
at this photograph.
No, like it's like about putting your picture away.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I put my picture away. Sat down and cried today.
Yeah, you know the song. It's a very
Yeah.
popular song.
I ain't look at you, but I'm trying.
No, it's like I'm thinking of you, but I'm lying next to this other person. It's a song of lost love and regret.
Thinking about you for a long time. Think I got you all up in my mind.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was saying. Except he was like, you know, my big hugs in my left hand.
Yeah.
Photos in my right. I've been stroking it for 3 goddamn nights. You know, it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
you know, that's like the kind of energy Kid Rock gives me. You know what I mean? He's like that kind of guy.
Well, he's straight up trailer trash, bitch. He's straight
singing
up
the song
trailer.
in like a bucket hat and like jean shorts.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And so dry.
It's so dry. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's keep it moist then, shall we? Let's keep it moist here. A silly one for your ass. Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Let's go Backstreet.
So you would fuck all of the members in Backstreet Boys then?
Well, I mean, if it's between the two, yes, I'll stick with it.
Oh yeah! But no, seriously, like you would go Backstreet Boys then over NSYNC. They're the OGs.
I just think that Backstreet Boys have like more of like what would maybe NSYNC had like a couple of like bigger hits, but I don't remember I knew NSYNC was like around, but I really think that Backstreet Boys just like had that bigger presence. You know, wasn't music I was listening to, but I definitely think if I had to like someone like at gunpoint was like, pick one now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, that's kind of what I'm doing to you right now, bitch.
I definitely think I was like, oh, I would for sure pick Backstreet Boys.
Okay, okay. Again, on this idea of the shit, Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's say Christina Aguilera.
Why?
I don't know. They both do like
Oh
this.
shit.
To me, they're like similar ladies, I guess, in a lot of ways. I don't know. I never really like listened to them like all the time. Neither one of them is like my jam, right?
Oh my god. So you never were hip to Britney Spears or Christina Ags back in the day? You never fucking loved that shit?
No, it was more like, like for myself, like
Well, because
like
it's like,
what,
like
like,
for me, for example,
it was like Destiny's-
it's a guilty pleasure nowadays that
Well,
it's
so
not
for-
so guilty.
So for me, that was like more like Destiny's Child.
Oh, I don't think you're ready for this
Yeah,
shit.
like
Yeah.
like and like there was a Robin S. She's somebody. You never spanked it to Christina. Who didn't? She had that
Ooh.
album cover where she was like up against the wall.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you were like, oh man, I'm like a child. And when you're a child and you're just learning about yourself and that's all you've got is album covers and Sears magazines.
Fair.
You know,
Fair.
you're gonna take what you can get, and some people were lucky they had sisters in the house, so they had like Barbies to their disposal. That's like a doll. I mean, that's gross that kids would do that. Kids don't. Do
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay, one more for your ass on this goofy idea or theme. Corn or Limp Bizkit.
Let's say corn.
All right. So yeah,
That's nasty.
Yeah. Did Lucas just say he fucked up Barbie?
I'm not saying that.
Oh.
Why would I say that?
Yeah, but the corn, yeah, again, this is all just like 90s era type shit that I'm thinking about, right? And these were all bands that were like
Right.
influential to my ass, so it's like I feel like those are kind of the big two of like new metal, right?
Well, like Linkin Park was like the fucking
Later in the early 2000s, yes, I would say they kind of pulled out to be
like the top dogs of that genre.
yeah, that's fair because Linkin Park was definitely one of my first heavy bands just getting really involved in like the metal scene, right?
Hey, just getting into corn, eh?
Just say, yeah, right. No way. No way. Mr. Harris, if that's true.
Like just giving them like an honest listen, not like just like listening to the hits
Right,
kind of thing. Is like that's what
right.
he's saying?
Yeah, if you're giving it an honest listen, fuck yeah. But don't be yanking my fucking chain here,
Yeah.
man.
Well, it's like fun to go back and like
For
really,
real.
like honestly, like go back, listen to like a lot of like old bands. So you like maybe didn't give yourself like a chance to listen to, like you might have heard when you were young, right?
Yeah, no, legit.
Right? Like I went back and listened to like a bunch of old like it's like Bush and stuff like that, like a few years ago. Just like, like those kinds of like old radio rock bands from like the day, like the prog stuff and like the more grungy sounding stuff, right?
Yeah.
And like that was like
oh yeah.
it was like fun to do that stuff with, right? Korn has got all those masks, right? And the guy with all the drums. I'm pretty sure that's not Slip.
Mr. Harris likes to fucking fuck around like that. I think he's well informed. He's dicking around right now, you smelly bitch. Ah! You're trolling and you're lucky I don't fucking come over there right now, alright? I'm gonna kick your fucking ass! Yeah, see, he does this all the time. He mixes up information about bands and stuff, okay? Thank you for joining, Mr. Harris, you greasy fuck. Do you think that we will ever see another musician like Weird Al?
Well, so like that's kind of the thing, right? Like that kind of thing is like evolved into like a YouTube thing.
Oh yeah.
So
fair,
like there's
fair.
and like it is kind of even evolved even beyond that, because you even get things like Steel Panther that's like a very specific like it's like a
Mm-hmm.
larger like parody like scope on it. So like I would say like Weird Al sort of like sparked a bigger like parody genre.
Right.
Because even like Tenacious D, like as serious as they are, they're also like parody music or like not, I guess novelty, right? They're not really, but like if you're talking about like straight like parodies, even though like YouTube is like still huge on that, right? And you get a ton of people on YouTube doing these like wild, like sort of like Weird Al style like covers of things. Also, I think Weird Al is still doing stuff.
oh yeah, he's still relevant, eh?
I think
Shit. Yeah, but that's a really good point actually, because I never really thought about these other bands that have like really gotten some real success and actual, I would say, decent musicianship when it comes to the idea of parody. Now, when it comes to Steel Panther, they're not making a parody of like specific songs.
Yeah,
They're
it's-
making a parody of an entire decade.
Yeah,
right?
like a
of
decade.
music, right?
Yeah.
And so another person, for example, who the fuck is that country artist? I forget his name
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
Wheeler Walker Jr.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So Wheeler Walker Jr.
Like good fucking musician, right?
He's
But
his jokes are just on the genre of country.
Yeah.
Right. So there's genre of decades of music or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like that's sick. That's sick, right?
yeah.
And,
So like I definitely think that like
there's
like,
potential. There's still potential.
yeah, we could
and-
get someone who's more directly like Weird Al, who's doing like crazy covers of like other things.
Right,
But
yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
big thing about Weird Al, I think, was that he initially started as doing accordion covers.
Yes, that's right. That was
That's-
a part of his shtick for sure.
Like
for sure.
initially, right? And then he kind of like has moved away from that,
Yeah.
right? And I think
Maybe
he-
a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe he keeps it like on the albums and stuff, but
Okay.
all right.
Gentlemen, I gotta get out of here and head to my meeting. Gortooth, you should pop in soon. Hey, that sounds good, brother. Yeah, I'll stay in touch, brother. Keep in touch, and thank you for popping by. I hope you have a good time there at your meeting as much as you possibly can. And yeah, brother, I appreciate your time. And tune in next time because we will be doing more podcasts. Digging the new show? Thank you very much. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's sweet. That fills my heart with joy that I can provide. We can provide a little bit of entertainment for my little vermins over here, right? Where was I? I keep dropping my shit here.
That's all right. I think I have time for like a few more. I think we got like
Okay, sure.
5-10 minutes.
Okay, sure. No problem. So, that being said, then let's just let me look through here. Yeah, with the last couple of moments here, then we'll try to get a little bit more political here, a little bit more into the world of
Ooh,
like
some of the stuff that's gonna make me my enemy.
Yeah, we're gonna start fucking fighting over fucking politics and shit right now. But I just wanted to ask a couple here before you go. That because I want to do this with everyone, because really Gortooth has the questions and who will answer. And we've been just figuring out who you are and figuring out your vibe and
Right.
your relation to me. And thank you for coming in, man. I really appreciate that. So let's get a little deeper here on certain things, maybe if we can.
Yeah.
So like first of all, do you trust the government?
It's like so I got two layered answers, right? A blanket statement, no.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Blanket, like you.
Yeah, but there's always why, right? Like you know.
Right. So, but like I would say, typically, right? So the government is like, you think of it as like, you can keep the opinion that they're corrupt, right? I'm not gonna contradict that, right? But
Right,
think
right.
of them as like a guy who's supposed to be watching over like the playground, right? And then there's other people who are like the same as that guy, but they're not necessarily interested in like watching over the playground. They're more interested in like pushing everyone around and that sort of thing, right?
Okay.
So those guys are corrupt. The guys pushing everyone around, right? The only thing they have interest in is pushing other people around, doing their thing, right?
Okay.
The government is this guy who's supposed to be wrangling these guys, but also likes pushing people around, right?
Right.
So it's one of these things where it's like, like as much as I don't trust them, I feel safer with them there as
Or may-
opposed to gone completely, because it's like,
Yes, that's a fair statement. And
Right, like, 'cause it's-
with that being said, I feel like it would be implicit that you trust them to a degree.
yeah, like there's an amount of like security that comes from like having that system. If we didn't need
Yeah.
it, we wouldn't have it, and it wouldn't have become necessary over like the how many thousands of years of history, right? Like it's
Right. Well, because I think we've actually gotten lucky with where we've been born. We do have a little bit of privilege here.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
for
Because there's
sure.
a lot of serious stuff going on in the world right now, and I feel for those people. But yeah, like I said, I feel like it's okay to acknowledge that we got a little lucky here, right? With
Yeah, for
where
sure.
we're at, right?
Yeah.
But okay, so no, I think that's great, man. So like with that being said, with the way that you explained it, I feel like greed might be a little bit of the problem. Is this because like we're a product of our system here?
Well, like I think it's not to get a little
This is just with the idea of capitalism.
yeah. So like I think it's sort of like a leftover sort of trait from like a time when like like we didn't have like a firm grasp on medicine. Like you really think back like 200 years ago, people were riding horses and like taking like radiation pills to like make their skin lighter and stuff like that, and like wearing
Right,
lead paint.
yeah.
Like there's a lot of things that like we like as a society like very recently just got overdoing. Like computers just like blew up how because like the 90s were closer to like the 40s in terms of like things that were available for you to do than the 90s are to now,
Right.
kind of thing. Because like the kind of shit our computers can do and our cars can do, it's so much more advanced than like the technological advance from like 1940 to like fucking 1990.
What you were saying though, I think was a good point earlier, where it's just like I think there's probably something within
Like, it's like-
the human ancient past that
Right.
made it more primitive to
Be greedy.
resort to greed. Yes,
Yeah, like, it's
whether
like a-
it's the idea of vanity with a hierarchy, right? So it's like the rich class is developed, and now you have makeup, right? Now you have headdresses and all sorts of things happening to make the appearance of a hierarchy, right?
Well, like yeah, so they have all these things and they're doing these things, right? But we eventually get to a point where societies have like grown to a point where like everyone has electricity and stuff. So like there isn't really this like the difference between an ultra rich person now and sort of like an average person is more in the amount of holidays and like we basically have like the same sort of amenities. It's just like the building they're in can be more flamboyant is like the way I would describe it. Right? Like when they have more money, but like generally because like you take a look at like people who are like making a lot more money, it's like, well, they still shop at the same fucking stores for the most part, right? They're still buying McDonald's on their way home.
Right, yeah, there's that, but
Like, and
I would
so-
argue that they're not at the same stores.
For sure. Like there's
especially when you get to the more tier levels of like extreme.
well, extreme wealth, there's even like, it's like, what did those people even have like do?
Well, it's like yeah, I think the what you're saying is more implicit of the idea is that no matter how much money you have, you're still a human, right?
Yeah.
Like but yeah. I just wanted to always relate to my vermin here that deep within myself, I feel a problem within society, and I feel like that problem is more often not capitalism, and that's hard to grasped for some, but others I think may be keen to that idea, right? Where because it's like that, what it just raises is the question is that what do we do as individuals, right? So like with the idea of like peace on earth, is that realistic? Can we get there?
Well, like as like a personal belief, and it's a pretty cynical one, I think most of humanity will probably be, if ever, because unless, you can find a way just to be like, oh, we have like a general amount of rules that all people generally believe, and that's like the only rules that there are, and then borders stop existing and stuff like that. In order for that to
Well,
happen,
so like, does that mean like that there it might be a single government when it comes to this?
so like I have no idea. Like I don't like. I'm already a part of a single government.
a global government,
Right, for
right?
sure.
Like,
But like, so like, the only like way I see a global government really being like, it's crazy, right? Because what happens then is like, oh, well, then it's like federations of like, you get like, what, like, yeah, I don't know, man.
okay, yeah. Well, I understand that that's a very difficult question to
Yeah.
answer, and my perception when it comes to like my worldview in politics and stuff normally lean on the quote unquote progressive side, right? So
Yeah.
peace on earth to me I think is realistic if we can remove the corruption within our system, and if we can actually change the system of capitalism to be a little bit more prosperous for and generous to each individual, right? So it's like I worry about, and I dream of a future where humans can have food in their belly and a roof over their head, right? And all at the expense of the government, right? So it's like
Right.
trying to trust the government on that level where they can make those choices and reallocate our funds properly to make more social things available, right? Like because
Right.
we're in Canada here, we have like our social practices. We got our free medicine, right? That also comes with a cost in many ways. But it's not perfect, and our world isn't perfect.
No, for sure.
So it is really hard to kind of envision what like that peace on earth would be like,
Well,
right?
yeah. So like, yeah, like if I was to like I think for the most part it would be like tribal infighting, for the most part, right? But I think that like in what I would consider like the ideal society, like you can't like, there are certain pieces of like and I'm not saying like, yeah, like, oh man, these bad pieces you have to keep, but I'm saying, to remove them entirely is to deny like a piece of like humanity to exist. And it's like, well, that kind of like defeats the purpose, right? Like the idea is that, like, in my eyes, is
Well,
that like there would be checks and balances, so like that, you know I think, to mitigate the amounts and types of corruption, right?
mm-hmm.
Right, like, because I don't think you'll ever be able to
Just making politicians more accountable,
yeah, well, and even then, right, like the
making
politician.
laws that are less vulnerable to loopholes.
Yeah, and well, and what comes with that, right, is like, I think fundamentally, those kinds of things stem down from, uh more like hereditary beliefs.
Sure. Like, yeah, it's just being a product of your environment, right? So it's like I think that change is possible with a more subtle indoctrination towards a more positive future. Because it's like if you want to put a label on it, it's like you're trying to change a generation into thinking a different way. It might as well be indoctrination because you're going to do it in your various ways, whether it be propaganda through movie or music or what
Well,
have you, right?
And
Like,
the idea too, I think, if you talk about indoctrination and stuff like that, is I don't think, the idea is ever, to, this is like a sort of like broad idea on the idea, but like it's never to completely subvert like a people in one generation, right? Like it's the kind of thing that like if you're going to convince people of something, it's like over the course of a long period of time, right? Like you're never going to be able to do it quickly, right? Because there are an amount of people who are like who are going to question things, right? And so like if you're going to convince anyone of anything, it has to be through the long haul kind of thing. So like that's why you get these like if there is a spread of misinformation, it's probably been there for a while. For how long? For about as long as people might have thought this information could damn this idea that I have in one way. Right. So like because like there's information, and I'm not saying this to be one way or the other, right? But like there's information from like the 1800s where they're like, hey, we noticed because we were doing checks on things and stuff like that, like, and you can kind of like look back on some of this stuff. But like if you're ever if people are ever interested in like history and stuff like that, like you can
For sure.
they can really like kind of like look back and see like there's like records from like the 1800s of when they started like really burning a lot more oil and stuff like that. And they're like, well, like what are the effects? And they're like, yeah, we noticed like the average temperature in like the city, like where they were like burning more of the things and stuff like that, like the average temperature around it was like going up, like not a lot, but it's enough to notice, right? And be like, oh, does that have like a wider effect? So they would test. So like it's just a thing where it's like there's I forget what I was getting at.
Well, we were basically just talking about like the idea of peace on Earth and stuff.
So like
Right. So like but like that just gets me on like what are your thoughts of like the military then? You know what I mean? 'Cause,
what are my thoughts? I think military is I don't know. There's a lot of countries that just have like a peace force, and that seems to be like fine enough. Like I don't think anyone, like at this point, it's like if there was like more incentives to be like, oh, you can all have defensive armies, but no armies large enough to launch an attack.
Right.
And so then if that's sort of like, oh, so everyone, is like, yeah, because like we're all just want to defend ourselves from a possible attack, but like what kind of attack? Well, they would have to be small attacks, and like the way it is right now, right? It's all fucking scare tactics stuff. And like warfare is fought in like proxy wars with poorer countries.
Yeah.
Right now, right? It's like how comes? Because they're smaller scale wars that won't be as devastating. We've effectively won war and can't have it anymore. How come? Because the weapons we have will blow up the planet.
Yeah.
Right? And so like how do we fight wars? It's like, well, we get involved with the petty squabbles of smaller countries.
Right.
And I say petty squabbles. It's obviously diminishing the plights of those people and stuff like that. And I don't mean to do that.
No,
I just
that's
mean
okay.
like, I just mean to say that like, like there's, two other countries that are at war, and then whichever side, one side, if like one superpower is like, oh, I'm going to help this small country here beat this other small country that's trying to, inflict war upon them. Then the superpower of the other side is like, what, they're getting involved, they're trying to take more territory, I can't let that happen. So then they get involved on the opposite side, right? It's not even that they care.
Right. Well, I
It's
think what it is probably maybe a problem with like paranoia due to intel that each nation may be getting, right? So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
if they're gonna do this, it looks like they're preparing for something. We need to act accordingly, just in case or whatever.
Yeah, well, like that kind of stuff is always like
Well, that's the thing. I feel like having a military for protection and stuff is a great thing, but to be overstepping any boundaries on what that protection might imply, like it just has to be genuine. And
Well, like,
like with the idea of removing corruption, just know that these soldiers are in the right place for the right reasons.
well, like for the most part, you know what I'm saying? Like I definitely feel like, and militant lifestyle is like been a part of human history all the way through, right? So to abandon.
And yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's something I do respect. I'm not ever trying to like shit on the military either, because I'm in a very difficult place when it comes to my worldviews, when it comes to sometimes the military and stuff, because I feel like they're also a product of their system where it's like, if they had better guidance and stuff, like I said, if they were there for a better purpose, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's like, I could feel more confident with morality
Well,
behind that, right?
if you think,
But the military-industrial complex, I believe, is a very strong and alive thing where it's like, yeah, the government has an agenda, and sometimes that's very clear with their war efforts.
well, yeah, if you're doing war for money, you know what I mean? Like it's
Exactly.
like that's
And that's kind of what I'm getting at here. So I'll ask you one more question before we go here, and before I do my sign off here, my good sir. So like, what can we as individuals do to like make a difference in our world here? What can the vermin do?
like the easiest thing, honestly, like is if there's like a problem that like really really like bugs you, like about the society you're a part of, like get involved in a way that actually, and I say like in a way that like actually like there's like small things you can do to like help these issues, right? Like a lot of people have like problems with like some of the labor laws or like how things go. That there are labor unions and things like that, and other like things like even like UNICEF and stuff like that
Yeah.
that like help fight for laws that like help like the average worker and things like that, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And just
absolutely.
to like be a little bit more aware of like when those kinds of groups are like asking for like signatures or like those kinds of things, like just being a little bit more like, if you believe that like people should have more food kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
let's say you do have enough to spare, and I don't think like any of us are like the kinds of people that wouldn't offer stuff up, but there's those kinds of things. It's like, well, to make the world a better place, you kind of have to like it's kind of that responsibility thing, right? Like you kind of have responsibility is a sword that you have to take, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's the sword and the stone, like you have to take it, and you have to like you don't have to be the destined one, right? But it's for sure it's
You don't have to be the martyr.
right, you don't have to be whatever, but like it's responsibility is a thing. It's like, no, you have to for sure go and take it, right? Like
Right, Uncle Ben, he said it wisely.
yeah, if it's, especially if it's like within like your ability, like it's within all of us to be able to be like, oh, like the Children's Aid Society is for sure something that helps children. We can all sort of like agree with that.
Sure.
Maybe you have like smaller gripes with certain pieces of it, but like on the whole of it,
Right.
you can say, yeah, it definitely helps children get into, but it's like, I wish it was better. It's like, if it had more funding, it would be.
Yeah.
So like if it's they don't have a limit on the kinds of things you can donate, and that's it too, right? You have to know what sort of charities are actually helpful, right? And that's the thing, you have to do kind of like on your own, because you could donate to just like anything and find out that like, oh, this charity I donated to, like 80% of what I donated goes to like this like trust fund for this like
I would definitely advise anyone to look into the charities that they're going to go into, because sometimes corporations are a little bit more heavily involved with and you just want to make sure it's going to the right place.
But like, so, and that's why like you really take a look at things like like UNICEF, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you could donate to, you don't even have to donate a lot. You'd be like, oh, like I donate like $2 like a year. It's like, right, but that's $2 a year they weren't getting before.
Sure. And if like 2,000 people did that, it's
right,
like,
like
boom, like
right, exactly, right. It's just smaller things, right? Like if you want more goodwill, you have to support the things that offer goodwill, right? And sometimes that means making harder choices that don't always immediately benefit you, right? But that's sort of the point of goodwill, which is why it's hard to get behind, I think, for a lot of people, because like sometimes in order to receive goodwill, you have to put some goodwill out. And I don't mean in order to receive it, but like
I think there are powers to the laws of attraction, but at the same time, it's just good to be genuinely selfless from time to time with no real expectation. It's not like I'm doing this to get it back from the universe at some point in time.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like,
It definitely has to be for posterity, right? You have to do it because you want, not for yourself, but you're like, man, what if, my child was, walking around and they were like, man, I wish I didn't have to, like, work 18 jobs, but my parents never fought for things to be different. Even though they disagreed with the way things were, they didn't go out and vote. And
Right. Yeah.
right, or they didn't pay enough attention genuinely to what they were voting on, right? Because, like, it's important to vote even if you're voting for a party that will never get in, right?
Right. Yeah.
Kind of thing. The idea is that casting your vote sends a message that you didn't think that either of the bigger people, because we do have a multi-party system where there's, like, 4 or 5 people you can, like, vote
And I
for.
would say that's great. We need more of that, right? It
Right,
gives us
like,
more diversity.
just the idea that, like, it's like, if you don't like either of those two, it's like, great, go in and vote for a different party,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
those aren't just the only ones.
Yeah, show your support to something new that might be more in line with your actual like
take the-
worldviews, right? Because
Your local
there's
communities
y-
too,
y-
right?
yeah,
Like,
there's a lot of subtleties to this world, and having these different branches of waves of thought, I think is a great thing, because like we're here in Canada, we have that, but when you're in America or something, that's like more limited to only two. You know what I mean? It's just like you got the two.
Yeah, you got
Right,
the two
and it's like,
parties.
Jesus Christ, man!
Yeah, it's like,
I voted for Kodos. All right, you
Yeah,
know,
right. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, like, it's definitely something that, like, in your own local economies and stuff like that too. Like, and I say local economies, like your own towns and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
Like, it's a lot easier to just do the small things.
Yep.
Like, even once in a while, if you're like, ah, man, there's so much garbage on the street. It's like, well, do you live on that street?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and I know it's not your garbage, right? But, like,
That's the
but
idea
if
of
it
being
wasn't,
selfless,
if
right?
somebody
Like,
came into your house, threw their garbage around, and you didn't know, like, they broke in the middle of the night, very discreetly,
Yeah.
threw garbage around your house, you didn't know about it, and then they left and relocked your door somehow. So there was
Just getting swifty on the fucking floor
right,
there.
like, somehow teleported garbage into your house, right? And you're like, ah, fuck, all this garbage in the place that I live. This looks disgusting. This is terrible. And you would clean it up. You're like, ah, the place I live is cleaner and I feel better about it.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And it's like, oh, you live in that neighborhood and you're not willing to pick up any of the garbage that's there? Right? And, like, I get it, because no one else on the street is gonna fucking do it, right? Like, and it's like,
Yeah.
but, like, the
Well,
idea is,
like, and I guess that
that's
means
the
it's like, how
smallest-
far does it go? Like, when do you stop? It's
Right.
like, do you only do the place in front of your house, or do you clean in front of everyone's house?
well, maybe
Right,
you
like,
will start asking, your neighbors, like, hey, like, once a day I go for a walk and I pick up some of the garbage in the neighborhood. Maybe you'd like to come with me, help me pick it up, keep the neighborhood looking nice. And you turn it into a community event, right? And then
So
suddenly,
that's the thing. I think is like a good point where we can leave off here is the idea of community, right? Just try to be involved, Vermin. So we're gonna get into the end here. I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but
That's
you said
okay.
you were a little bit on a time constraint
yeah,
here.
yeah, I
We're
gotta
getting-
get going.
Yeah, we're doing good, baby. We've had an awesome fucking time here. So yeah, ladies and vermin, thank you so much for joining
Hey,
me,
you're very
Lucas,
welcome.
and to all of the vermin for coming out and saying hi. Let's hear it again for old Lucas here. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for joining us here at the GorPod MagmaCast. You can always check out the full episodes here on my Twitch channel, and I will be uploading the full episodes on the YouTube. Okay. So I plan on releasing the full audio episodes eventually on Spotify. Okay. But right now you can find the full episodes right here on Twitch in the VODs. You'll be able to find it, and also on YouTube's guys. So yeah, the vermin don't die. They multiply. Yeah, and if you're looking for a close encounter of the third kind, be sure to tune in into the next live show, guys. I'll smell you later. Yeah. Let's go. Thank you once again for joining us, guys. I'll smell you later. Find me next time on the GorPod MagmaCast. Let's fucking go, guys.